Hello, everybody, and welcome to our After Church Tea Time. I'm Granville Campbell, and I'm joined today by Rachel and Valentina. And to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving today. So I think the sermon, the thing that stood out for me really was just, taking the step back and really starting to be grateful in all of those spaces. And I think sometimes, when I just feel into it, sometimes I probably actually do overlook gratitude in my life. So it was just something it was a good reminder to just take the step back and appreciate things again and remember to appreciate things again. So I'm going to open it up to the team and see how they feel about it and what really stood out for them today.
Oh yeah, I saw a meme. It's been pretty widely shared. Everyone's probably seen it. It said if you are grateful if you're grateful a lot, you attract a lot of things to be grateful for. And if you complain a lot, you attract a lot of things to complain about. And that's pretty true. Certainly complaining used to be a bad habit of mine, but they are just habits of mind. We've got so used to ways of thinking, we've got used to very entrenched patterns, and some of them are not helpful. And so sometimes all it requires is just a conscious choice to change those ways of thinking. I mean, if stuff comes up, obviously go in and heal that with the mirror exercise. But yes, it's being mindful and disciplined and setting boundaries with certain thoughts as they arise. Certainly, that's something that I'm working on at the moment. But you, as you progress on your journey, it does become easier and easier to be grateful. Like things start happening, you realize that the work is working and motivates you to keep going. So it becomes a virtuous cycle rather than a vicious cycle. And wherever you're at is okay. So don't feel bad because you're not where you want to be just yet. Just take the steps, keep moving forward.
Yeah, for me it was really meaningful, this sermon, because I thought to myself, I feel like I don't express gratitude enough, and I just don't connect with that energy enough. But then I realized, no, actually you have started to do that. And when I express gratitude to everyone that helped me to to be able to come together with my twin flame, it just took me to a place that it's like I was able to receive my own union so much more deeply when I was able to be thankful and express gratitude to everyone else that had helped me to get where I am. And Thanksgiving is something that we don't have in the UK, but I feel like it would be nice to have that. It's a very important energy to tap into, and it would be good maybe to have it in every country. I think that would be good. I think you are doing it right in the US, that you have that Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, it feels good to me.
Oh yeah, very quickly. Congratulations, Valentina, on your breakthrough in your union. It's been a long time coming. You deserve every drop of happiness there. But as for not having Thanksgiving in the UK, one thing I did do over the years, for many years now, actually, that was really positive, is we'd get to when they were celebrating Thanksgiving in America, and if I had anything in particular to be grateful for at this time, I celebrate my own Thanksgiving. So it doesn't have to be an organized thing that everybody does. It can be an individual thing. It could be a time of year for everyone to give thanks for what they have and what's coming.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's it's something that is worth celebrating. That feeling of gratitude, and just just making it a practice in your own life. Not that it has to necessarily be any type of holiday or anything like that. So yeah, I do like the message of Thanksgiving, and I just feel like, as you said, Valentina, it might be a nice thing to celebrate as well, because also in South Africa we don't have it. But I think it is a good reminder that it's such a celebrated time of year. And so I like what you shared, Rachel, in that, just doing it yourself, just celebrating it in any case. And yeah, it's kind of been something that through the sermon just really was a nice reminder, again, just to also appreciate how far we've come in our journey. And I think that's something that we sometimes tend to overlook, because we concentrate a lot on healing the upsets and forgetting that each upset healed is actually worth celebrating and worth being grateful for. And so yeah, the feeling of gratitude, just as you said, Valentina, it's an energy that we probably can concentrate on tapping into more. But at the same time, like as just feeling into it, it just feels like a really peaceful, comfortable space to be in. And so, yeah, I kind of today, I actually quite appreciated the sermon in the sense that just the simplicity of it. Just the simplicity of the message of gratitude, and remembering that it can be a way of life, and that it doesn't need to be something that we beat ourselves up for where we don't remember. But when we do remember, it's just to go back into that space and just live in that vibration, because it really does feel good and comfortable. So yeah, I think Michaela and Jose shared a lot around also just how being grateful for the work, for Jeff and Shalea's work, and for Jeff and Shaleia, is an extension of receiving the work. And I think the quote really did stand out for me, in that gratitude is how you truly learn to understand love. So for today, it was just really comfortable and really just peaceful to sit through the sermon and not have preconception of what we've been taught about gratitude before, but rather to actually just allow them to share their message with us. So it was really cool for me today.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that Jose and Michaela mentioned was don't wait to be loved. You can have love right now. You're not missing out on anything, because you're one with love. You can tap into the spiritual source and fill up inside on divine love 24 hours a day. So if you're not in union yet, it doesn't matter. You're not missing out. They're already with you. It's just the journey is coming into a deeper awareness of that. And yeah, and even if you are moving through a really big challenge at the moment, as I am, you've got the opportunity, thanks to the work, thank God for the work, to transcend the current challenges. So if you persevere, whatever is in front of you will fall to your persistence. Yeah, you either always get either your dream or the next step to your dream. Even if it feels like baby steps, you don't realize how much massive progress you're making behind the scenes. It may seem like baby steps to the naked eye, but spiritually, it's immeasurable. So please know how well you're doing. Yeah, and give yourself the credit for making progress, for moving through the upsets, coming to a state of peace and doing well. Don't deny yourself the celebration of your successes. Even if the success is the feeling within, well, that's where it starts. So focus there, focus within, and cultivate that love within.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I do this very often where I'll just be like, okay, we've smashed through this level. What's next? What's next? And just keep going on and on. And then I say to myself, no, but you need to stop and, actually appreciate what you've done, what you've achieved up until now. Whenever you have a spiritual breakthrough, it's really important because then you're giving to yourself. When you give yourself appreciation, you're filling up your cup, and then it gives you energy to move forward again. So yeah, it's something I'm learning myself, to appreciate more and to give myself that appreciation before I move on again onto the next stage.
Yeah, I like that you shared that, because I do believe that we do this. We really just do move all the time. And again, just that sense of appreciation also allows us to slow down. It allows us to actually allow the healing to settle in, which is something that I've had to learn, just to learn to allow the time for integration, take the time out. And I think it's something that's probably been, that sense of always having to be doing something that I've learned and am learning to let go of, which allows me to appreciate the quiet times, appreciate the rest, which is something that I probably in my younger life days probably didn't really appreciate resting. It almost always felt like a little bit of a waste of time. Like I always felt like I was being unproductive. And just through the teaching, I've learned that rest is also very productive. And it's something that, if I recall correctly, it was something that was shared in the card reading as well, is that it's okay to know when you're ready to let go of those hostilities and stuff like that, and allow yourself kind of the space and the room to do that. And yeah, it's definitely been a learning curve to appreciate the quiet times and appreciate the rest.
Yeah, I love what you shared there, and I think it's very important to mention that allow your day to be guided by God. Ask God what you're going to do with your day. Because on some days, God may tell you to do what seems like not very much. It could even look lazy to the outside, but if God wants you to rest. If God wants you to work, it's a balance. You can't be overworking all the time and expect to progress. That actually slows you down. It is a balance of work, rest, and play. And that is part of the journey. Something that Michaela told me that it took her a while to cotton on to be kind to yourself and approach your schedule in a balanced way. That's very important. That's the fastest way that you can actually make progress, not by pushing through whatever it is needs doing. And the same goes for really trying to push through the upsets. Healing doesn't have to be harsh or difficult. It's supposed to be peaceful and gentle and easy. And you don't have to work hard at the healing either, because you can let love do the work. Let God guide you through it. It's not supposed to be draining. If it's draining, then there's something not quite right that needs adjusting. This way you can really, really enjoy your healing. It becomes a beautiful process, like the ups and downs of it. Just ride the emotions, work through them, move through them, arrive at peace, ready for the next one. Or maybe God says, we'll take a little break before the next one. And it's all okay. However it's unfolding for you is perfect for your journey.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think something that stood out for me in what you just shared was also to let love do the work. And I think it's something that's probably a message that needs to settle in, because as I said, sometimes it was just a proper grind all the time, but at the same time, it's probably not the most loving place to be in. It's most probably not the most compassionate place to be in for yourself either. So I do like what you shared in terms of just letting love do the work. And I think it's something that came through in the sermon as well. And it's a message that we hear all the time, but it's the message of loving something completely in order to transcend it. And sometimes I just think when those challenges do present themselves, it's very easy to lose sight of what it's actually bringing to us when we constantly focus on the fact that there's yet another challenge. And so, definitely appreciate the message of allowing love to do the work, but also to let love lead the way. And I think it's something that came through in past sermons as well, is let love lead the way. And if that were the case, I probably would look at the challenges in a very different way, which would probably allow me to relax through them as well.
Yeah, this is something that my coach is really drumming into me at the moment, letting love do the work and being gentle and compassionate. Because you want your twin flame to be gentle and compassionate with you. You don't want them to be giving you tough love all the time. So you love yourself how they love you. So be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Don't have to be always looking for the next piece. You can relax on the journey and not slowing down.
Yeah, that made me laugh. It just reminds me with my twin flame like last week, you know, and I feel grateful for his discipline, and we just had this moment where he shook me like spiritually, and then I agreed with him. I said, "You're right. Yeah, I need to carry half of the weight in our union because you're carrying more than half the weight with the work." And then afterwards, he says to me, "Oh, are you sure it's a good idea you moved to India now?" I said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Oh, we just had an argument." I said, "We didn't just have an argument, we just had a discussion. We're just hashing it out. We're going to get a lot more of that." But you know, in the moment, it felt kind of like intense to receive that discipline. You know, it feels uncomfortable, you know. But then after it happened, I was just so relieved. I said, "No, I'm so relieved." And even in the preceding days, I was like, "Wow, I'm so grateful to my union and, you know, God loving me through my twin flame, God disciplining me. All of the forms that love comes in, I'm just really grateful for." So it's really important to be grateful for God and the way He's guiding us every day, His messages, His discipline, His love, and He's there for us. I just feel so grateful for that and for finding this teaching.
Yeah, and something that you shared around being grateful for to God for just for leading us to this work, and it's something that came through in the sermon as well. And you know, actually, I had quite a laugh when Jose said, you know, like, that's a lot of love. God is giving you a lot of love, having led you to this work. And you know, and like when like looking at it, and I just had such a laugh because sometimes the simplest message really does actually sink in so much more. And yeah, you know, just when I think about it, like just how much my life has changed as a result of this work. And then I look at it and I think, well, actually, it's not that my life has changed that significant. It's that I've changed that significantly that makes my life feel so much better. And I appreciate that has come from being a student of Jeff and Shaleia. Just, you know, really accepting the divine wisdom that comes through their teaching. And it does allow me to also appreciate that I took the time and I have put in the effort and I have put in the energy to learn. And, you know, like when I feel back into the whole space of learning, it's definitely changed my perspective on learning because it just feels so much more comfortable now than it did before. And it doesn't feel like the slog. Like learning at some point felt a bit like a slog, and it no longer feels that way. But it's really about receiving the good that's there. And I think it's something that they also shared in terms of accepting your good and knowing that your good is for you.
Yes, I agree with all of that. There's one thing that it took me a very long time to come to terms with was just how loved I am by God. It's like, surely God doesn't love me that much to give me all of my good. Maybe this little bit here, maybe a little bit there, but all of it, oh my goodness. And that's that's had many layers, and Jeff and Shaleia talk about this. So all through their journey, it's again and again, it's been like, wow, I thought that I was already loved a lot, but this new level is divine. So yeah, that's part of the process. It's part of the eternal unfolding, expansion. And the other thing that you touched on that I've been working on a lot with my coach is the receiving of the love. Because it's one thing accepting that you're good from God, it is already here for you, just waiting for you to receive it. But actually being able to receive it is, that's one all on its own. So we might have blocks to receiving, we might feel unsafe receiving love. Maybe we received some as children something that we were told were love, but really was anything but, and then we project that onto God. So that's been a process of discovery in recent weeks for me as well.
I like that you termed it a process of discovery, because it has been. It's been a lot of discovery of what's really at the core. That's probably been out of focus in the past. And the teachings and just working with a coach permanently, just again, you know, it helps to lift that blur in the vision and brings a lot of clarity, which is a much more comfortable space to be in. Because, you know, I've found that oftentimes just kind of things coming into my awareness through my coaching sessions have just allowed me to really actually understand things at a deeper level, and also just feel things at a deeper level. And I think that's really testament to the work and being part of this community, that there are so many people that, as you said, Valentina, so many people that are there to help and are keen to help. But also lots of people that are quite keen to share as their healing has taken place, so that that healing might be replicated in somebody else's life if they are facing similar kind of things. So yeah, I think that sharing component that Jose and Michaela spoke to also just, again, starts to settle in and just allows for us to remember that we are part of a community that's very comfortable in sharing their healing, so that the healing settles in and of itself. And that's been probably the bigger part of really feeling more comfortable in this community, is that people are just much more open. And definitely for me, more caring than in most other areas that I have experienced similar types of communities. And yeah, you know, even just in work, I've now just found that even the people, as the healing takes place on the journey, I just find that I find people that are more free in loving as well, which makes life a lot more comfortable. And it just, again, it's just truly the reflection of the work that we do as unionists. to literally just bring everybody along on the journey. And it really spills over into the other areas of our lives.
Yeah, it really does. Something happened to me recently. I went to a customer's house to do a cleaning job. And while I was there, I mean, she just met me for the first time. While I was there, she approaches me and she tells me that her and her husband have just sold their house, the one that we were in. And it felt like that had been dragging on for a long time, that they'd had it on the market for a long time, and that nothing was happening. So it's like this miracle happened for them when I was at their home, you know, just for a couple of hours. And it's not about me, it's God. Because being in their presence, I shared God with them without actually purposely doing it. And then they received this miracle of the house being sold, which was amazing. And so it's really true. The sharing is important. Also within the community, when we share our healing, I feel like it really helps other people to move through a block a lot faster. Like when it's shared, because you've already got that piece and you've moved through it, and then like you share it on the open forum or in the student volunteer centre, and then others who are experiencing the same block, as they read your post, it's like they receive the healing too, and they can move through their same block a lot faster.
Yes, I agree. I've been finding the stuff that fellow students have been sharing, especially recently, massively helpful. And I could share, I really should share a little bit more myself. But I've been moving through a challenge lately. It's yeah, it certainly shook everything up. It was like the bottom had fallen out of everything. But I've been working through it. I've managed to release the resistance I've had up until now to doing the mirror exercise, and I've been doing some mammoth mirror exercises. So I'm very glad Granville reiterated a couple of times to allow time for the healing to settle and integrate. And I've certainly moved through the first part of this particular challenge that I'm moving through, and it's actually extremely empowering because it's given me access to feelings that I wasn't able to access until now. And I'm not afraid to go into them. So it's given me the opportunity to really get stuck in and get to work on them. And it feels great. And that brings us to what Michaela and Jose said about the terrible challenges that propel you forward, because they're purifying and releasing the stuff. And you become grateful for the process. And the stuff that's being purified, of course it feels bad, because you don't want to be walking around with that inside you. So goodness knows how long these long-standing patterns have been here for. And I don't know if I mentioned this in tea time a few weeks ago, but yeah, they also mentioned how you get to a point in your journey where you're able to go much deeper and handle much larger upsets, real boss level upsets. And on the other side of everyone, there's huge amounts of power waiting for you that you're going to receive when you move through it. And it's power that you need. It's like with every piece of ego that you dissolve, you reclaim vast tracts of your kingdom. And you don't want ego to have even a smidgen of it. It's all yours. So yeah, it's all good. And yeah, well, they also say that he's helping me improve, and now we are better. You think where we were a few months ago, we wouldn't be able to handle the vibration, the frequency that we're at now. But we can now, because we've got the spiritual muscle for it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you shared that you actually are building the spiritual muscle. That's really what's happening every time you move through the upset and do the mirror exercise. You really are learning to master yourself and your journey. And I think it's something that came through in the sermon as well, is that we are learning mastering. And it's okay when things don't always feel right or seem right, because it actually draws attention to where the work is required. So yeah, I definitely agree with you that we are literally, and it's something that we South Africans would probably call your spiritual chops. So, it's literally that. You're building your spiritual muscle as you do the work. It's really cool.
So diving into the uncomfortable feeling, well, that's just the quads burning. I'm not saying go for the burn all the time, but a little bit's okay. And then allow adequate recovery time. Very important. Don't overdo it.
Awesome. So just checking in with both of you. How are you feeling? Because I feel like we've reached the point of completion today.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Cool. So thank you to everybody that's followed us. And we'd like to invite all of you to please like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you will find all our other after church tea times and any other live discussions that have happened in our Unionism Spiritual Discussion group on Facebook. And we look forward to seeing all of you again soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.